Good to see you. Thank you for joining me. I trust, like me, that you're greatly thankful and most enthused about the possibility of church families meeting again for public worship in our own buildings. In our context, that'll be possible from Sunday the 5th of July. Our morning services will resume on that date, and it would be lovely to see all who are able gather together to worship God then. I want at the beginning to get the caveat out of the way, since this video will be up online. It's possible that by the time you're watching it, maybe several weeks after I recorded it, or indeed in the place that you're watching it, that the regulations are different to the ones that apply in our context here and now, and that I'm speaking on the basis of. And I trust it goes without saying that we want to comply with the regulations that are in place at the time and place that we're in. I have to say, and I want to be crystal clear about this, it's an odd thing for me as a minister to say, but I do have to say that quite possibly there are indeed some, without doubt, connected to our congregations, maybe watching this, who simply ought not to come. If you're shielding, if you've received medical advice that tells you not to go out of your house and that advice is still applicable, well, don't disobey it, don't disregard it, don't come out and put yourself at undue risk. Be blessed and enjoy the services that will be available online, recordings most likely of what happens in the building. Likewise, I trust it goes without saying that if you are experiencing symptoms of COVID-19, that you ought to self-isolate, and that of course means you ought not to come to public worship. Again, please enjoy and be blessed by the online services, the recordings. For those of us who, thank God, we trust will be able to come to the building, you'll notice significant differences, but I don't think they'll really come as an awful lot of a surprise to you. After all, it's the same kind of stuff as we're all experiencing in shops and places of work and other places that more and more we are getting access to as the lockdown continues to ease. So there'll be sanitizer provided. Do please use that on your way in and your way out. Rather than receive a warm handshake, you will receive a warm welcome, but there won't be any physical touch in it, nor will you be handed any pieces of paper, neither an announcement sheet nor prayer sheet. The prayer sheet instead will be available online, as it has been thus far in the lockdown. All throughout, of course, and going in, while we're in, and in coming back out, we have to keep our distance from one another. Families, of course, living in the same house can sit beside one another, but for the rest of us, we've got to keep our 2 metres apart from everybody else. The building will be marked out to facilitate that, and it's upon us all to make sure that we stick to that. It'll not be easy. I'll want to go over and shake hands and hug and whatnot else, as I'm sure many of you will, but we've got to be responsible and sensible about this. Should you need to use the bathroom during the service, you will be able to, although I'm afraid, alas, according to the guidelines, you'll need to clean it yourself after doing so. Regarding the content of the service, the great news yesterday is that actually some measure of congregational singing will be possible. I had thought initially that would not be so, but apparently it is, and the Chief Scientific Advisor, the Stormont Executive, has spoken to that effect. Now, it'll not be on the scale that we're used to. The guidelines that came talk about less rather than more, softer rather than louder, and singing some and listening to some. So it will be a bit different, but we'll be able to sing to God's glory and to listen to others doing so, God willing. Perhaps the thing that will be a most obvious difference, and I'll find it heartbreaking to be honest, is that the children will not be coming to the front for the children's address. There is no greater feeling than standing at the front of the church listening to the enthusiastic noise of young people coming to the front. But that's not going to happen for the meantime. There will be a children's address. You'll just have to stay seated with your parents and so on, boys and girls. The other difference noticeable will be that rather than an offering being lifted during the service, there'll be a plate in the vestibule, and either on your way in or your way out, you can deposit your offering there as we seek to honour God in that matter, as in all others. Hope I've most of the bases covered. By all means, please get in touch with me at any time if you have any concerns or queries or anything like that. Big message, we do want to be responsible about this. The government, in a sense, is trusting churches to manage their own easing out of the lockdown in a sensible, considerate way, and we want to do that to the glory of God and for the good of all concerned, not least our neighbours and the wider community. So if you're able, do please come and worship God with us. We'll make sure that all the necessary social distancing requirements are adhered to, and let's give God the glory in being good stewards of this opportunity. For Jesus' sake. God bless you.